Alright guys, so today we're going to talk about how to read an ingredient label. We're going to give you guys a few great tips to help you navigate the grocery store and figure out how to get some good food and avoid bad food. So one thing I want to talk about first is why focus on ingredient labels as opposed to nutrition facts. So when you look at the back of any food, you're going to see some nutrition facts back here, things like protein, carbs, fat, calories, so on and so forth. And then of course at the bottom you're going to see the ingredients. The ingredients are way more important to focus on from a health perspective than the nutrition facts. The main reason being that the food quality that you can consume is going to be a lot more important than the protein amount, or the carb amount, or the calorie amount, or the fat amount. You want to consume real whole food, and that's really going to be a matter of what kind of ingredients are contained in the food rather than heavily processed foods. So that's why we're going to talk about ingredients labels rather than nutrition facts. Before we talk about how to actually read an ingredient label, it's really important to say that the healthiest foods usually just have one ingredient, and sometimes no ingredient labels at all. If you were to go to a farmer's market, if you were to go to a fish market or something like that, and you pick up a piece of salmon, it's not going to have any ingredient label at all because it's just a piece of fish. If you buy vegetables at the store, things like kale or broccoli, it's just going to be kale as the ingredient, or broccoli, or apples or something like that. Usually those are going to be the best foods. They're going to be the healthiest foods because they're minimally processed and they're right from nature and they're the way that they're supposed to be. So just in general, even though we're going to talk about how to read an ingredient label, the healthiest foods are typically the ones with what ingredient and typically no ingredient label at all. Stuff you could buy from a farmer's market and it wouldn't have an ingredient label at all. But since we are talking about ingredient labels and how to read them and how to navigate the grocery store, let's talk about what type of things you guys would look for while you're in the store. Let's talk about good food versus bad food in general, and then we'll talk about some of the particulars here with some foods that I picked out. So in general, good food is going to be food that has really not too many ingredients, few ingredients. You know, you hear some people say something to the effect of, if it has more than 7 to 10 ingredients on it, don't eat it. Something like that is generally true. There are a few exceptions, but generally that's true. You want to have food that has real whole food ingredients, things like vegetables and meats and fruits. You want to avoid things like monosodium glutamate and things that have lots of processed elements and chemicals and added sugars and things like that. And you want to have food that has little to no sugar. So that's the good food side. On the bad food side, we're going to have things that have many ingredients. If good food has few ingredients, bad food is going to have way too many ingredients. Now there are some exceptions here, but in general that's a good rule to abide by. You'll notice that most processed foods are heavily, they have a lot of different ingredients in them that wouldn't normally be in kind of minimally processed foods. In contrast to real ingredients with good food, with bad food you have a lot of chemicals, colors, and preservatives, things that really just shouldn't be in your food to begin with. And then lastly, bad food is going to have things like added sugars, flours, and vegetable oils, which you really just don't want to have at the end of the day. You want to try to have food with little to no sugar. So let's talk about a few of these items that I picked up here and talk about some better options that you can get. So this is kind of a standard coffee creamer, non-dairy creamer. If you look on the back of this, it's going to say corn syrup solids as the #1 ingredient. So highly processed ingredient as #1, hydrogenated vegetable oil, and sodium caseinate, which is a milk derivative. So basically no real whole food ingredients of any sort. Now, if instead you pick up this, this package of Organic Valley Heavy Whipping Cream, you're basically going to see that it just has organic grade A cream, which is basically a real whole food ingredient, and then carrageenan, which is a stabilizer. Not the greatest, but overall this is going to be a much better option than something like the non-dairy creamer, which is a processed food that isn't going to be so great for you. You can even get creamers out there that are just heavy cream, no extra carrageenan or anything like that. Okay, let's talk about chips. Flaming Hot Cheetos, one of my personal favorite foods. Don't have it too often these days, but it's not that great for you. So it starts off with enriched cornmeal. It's got vegetable oil, monosodium glutamate, basically every single processed chemical and artificial color, yellow 5, yellow 6, yellow 6 Lake, sunflower oil, all these different things in there that aren't so hot for you. And then on the other side, we've got some cinnamon plantain chips. If you look on the ingredient list here, we've got hand-selected plantains, non-hydrogenated palm oil, and natural cinnamon. Just 3 ingredients, much better option than something like the Flaming Hot Cheetos. And then lastly here, we've got Campbell's 98% fat-free cream of mushroom, right? It should be healthy, right? Because it's fat-free. Here we got modified food starch, we got wheat flour, we got vegetable oil, cottonseed, canola, and soybean oil, monosodium glutamate. Not really great ingredients. What if you needed cream of mushroom for a green bean casserole, something like that? What should you go with instead? Pacific Brand is a really good brand that's got some really good healthier options. Things, you know, the ingredients here are gonna be things like water, mushrooms, creme fraiche, which is a type of cultured milk, rice starch and rice flour, which are better than wheat, sea salt, onion powder, and garlic powder. So a pretty minimal ingredient list. So in general, you know, if you're looking for better foods, you want to have foods with fewer ingredients, real whole food ingredients, and want to stay from the chemically processed preservatives and colors. Now that we've talked a little bit about good food versus bad food, let's talk about being aware of wolves in sheep's clothing. So here's a really good example. Glutino chocolate chip cookies, right? So you see a lot of gluten-free products out in the store these days that kind of seem like they are healthy or advertise themselves to be healthy, but really just because something's gluten-free doesn't mean it has any nutrients in it. It means it's maybe slightly less bad for you, but it's not overall healthy. So in general, when you see a food like this, it might be okay as a treat every once in a while, but this isn't going to be a healthy option for you. Gluten-free pancakes in the morning are not going to be any healthier really than just regular old pancakes. And then lastly, we want to leave you with just 3 simple rules for the grocery store. You know, you got a lot of things going at the grocery store. Maybe you have your kids with you. You got to have 3 quick things to go to when you're shopping to make shopping easier. Number 1, if your great-grandparents didn't recognize it as food, probably not food. That's number 1. That's a really good, helpful tip in the store. Number 2 is good food goes bad, and bad food usually stays good. What does that mean? That means that something like non-dairy creamer, this will last through the apocalypse because it's made of chemically processed stuff. And real whole food tends to go bad after a while. It tends to be something natural, something that decomposes. So in general, good food is going to be something that has an expiration date, whereas the stuff that's shelf stable for the next 100 years is probably not going to be the best option. And then the last rule we want to leave you with is shopping the perimeter of the grocery store. Things like meats, veggies, seafood, fish, fruits, nuts, and seeds, as opposed to the center aisles where a lot of these processed foods are contained. So that's basically some helpful rules there for how to read an ingredient label. Got someone who wants to finish off those flaming hot Cheetos. I wouldn't recommend it, but they are delicious. So that's Robbie from CrossFit South Bend signing off. We'll see you guys next time.
That was good.